Did he know that you were not going to obey him before he married you?
Yes, he didn't care. He loved that I was an alpha female because I kind of like solved all his problems and made
What?
decisions. He loved me because I was alpha. He hated me because I was alpha.
When times get tough, you need to get down. No need to look backward. Put your feet on the ground. Stand up. Stand up.
Welcome to The Fallen State. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. The Fallen State is now on Patreon. So click the Patreon link to support our work. And thank you so much, folks. Today I have with me Grace Fraga, and she is a Latinx comedian, actress, and relationship coach. Grace, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Right on. So, Grace, what is a Latinx?
I'm Latina, but I put Latinx to kind of honor all genders, male, female, and non-binary. So that's why I put Latinx.
Oh, I got you. And so you call yourself a Latinx so you can honor both men and women?
Yeah, well, I identify as female.
Oh, okay.
She, her. But I just put that just to include, everybody.
So when you just said male and female or men and women, that's not everybody?
Well, there's non-binary also.
What does that mean?
They don't identify as female or male exclusively. So that's what that is.
Oh, they identify as something else?
Yes.
Oh, I got you. So Grace, what's important to you?
What's important to me?
Yeah.
If we are going to get deep, the most important thing for me is to love and help others. And I do that through my comedy and my relationship coaching, and anything I do, really, it's all about that.
Oh, I see. And how do you help them through your comedy and stuff like that?
Well, with comedy, it's people identify and connect with your experiences, even though they might be a little different. The human experience is pretty much, universal. So by connecting with that experience and me making fun of it or, making light of it or laughing about it, then I think people kind of like, it lightens the load. I think it lightens. Yeah. And anything else, any connection with anybody, if I can help or make their life better, that's, I think, what I'm here for.
Right on. It's interesting you said that you are a Latinx, you're Latina, but you look white.
I know.
Are your parents white?
Well, my mom was Italian descent and my dad Italian and Spanish. So, and I grew up in Argentina. So yeah, I guess I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. It's just a weird, I'm kind of like a combination of like two different cultures, the American culture and the Argentine culture, I feel. I don't identify with any particular race, to be honest. Just, I am me.
And so while growing up, that kids and young adults just assume you were white?
Well, yeah, I lived in Argentina until, I went to college. I came to the US to go to college. And yes, of course, people assume I am white. But when they hear a little bit of an accent, then they're like, like, where are you from? Like, they start like Boston, New York. Like, no, Argentina. And they're like, oh, wow. They just, Latinos, Latinx, we come in all shapes, colors, sizes, cultures. There's different cultures within the Latinx community. So it's hard to make it just one thing.
Right. Do you love all people?
I love all people. I don't like all people.
I know.
If that makes sense.
Do you love white people?
I love all people. To me, I grew up in Argentina where we did not have, boxes where you check like Hispanic or whatever, Black, white, Asian. So I grew up thinking, okay, you're either Argentinian or non-Argentinian. So that's my mentality. So that's, I don't know if that answers the question. That was an ADHD.
No, I asked, did you love all white people?
Yes, I love it. Well, not all. Like I said, I love everyone because I am called to love
Right.
everyone, but I don't like everyone, which is two different categories.
Okay.
Different things.
Interesting. And so, are you a Christian?
I consider myself spiritual. I do you know, follow the teachings of Jesus and Buddha, and I think it's all kind of like the same thing where it's about the higher self, and it's, I think a lot of religion has misinterpreted the teachings of Jesus, and so I would not call myself a Christian. I would call myself a spiritual person who
So
does
what is the
research.
difference in being, you believe in Jesus, right?
Well, he existed and he was an advanced soul that came here to help us, really, like Buddha and, you know, other souls. But you know, the way that religion portrays it, I don't follow that.
But you do believe in Jesus.
Yeah, he existed and he was awesome, but that's it.
Oh,
I don't
So you believe he existed, but you don't believe in him.
What's the difference? Like, believe that he's the son of God, and that's what you're asking me?
Right. He is the Son of God. He was sent to save us all from the sin, the fallen state. And those who believe in him believe in the Father. And so do you believe in Jesus?
Well, that's a very complex question because the way I approach any type of spirituality is not as simple as that. I don't I just look more into the spiritual aspect of it, where Jesus really taught about the kingdom of God is really your higher self. It's not something in the sky. You know, that's what I believe.
Right. Amazing.
I've done a lot of research.
I noticed that today a lot of people are afraid. They'll say they believe in Allah, Abba, Buddha, or someone else, but they seem to be afraid to say, I am a Christian. Where we are a Christian nation, you would think that, like in the good old days, we knew that Christianity, and still know, is the best religion on this side of heaven, right? So we knew that it was a blessing and an honor to be a Christian. Why are people afraid to say that now?
Well, I don't know if it's like the best religion. I believe, you know, that all religions have valid points. I don't believe that Christianity is the it religion. That's my personal belief.
Right.
Like I said, I do research into spirituality and the hidden meanings of the teachings of Jesus, and not just, you know, whatever religion tells me, oh, this is it. You know, the scriptures also were tampered with big time. And if you read books like the Book of Thomas that did not make it into the Bible, and you read the teachings of Jesus, they're purely spiritual. There's nothing about, you know, he was born of a virgin, and all that is like ancient myths or legends or whatever. It's something that was put into the Christian religion so that people would identify with it because that's what they believed in before.
You know, in the scriptures it said, Jesus said that we must be born again. God loves us, but he doesn't love us as we are. And in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven within, you must be born again. You got to overcome that fallen state and return to the Father. Do you agree to that?
Well, what I believe he refers to the fallen state is the lower vibrations, like fear, anger, all that stuff that makes us kind of ugly.
Right.
And when he talks about the kingdom of God, it's really about the higher self. So what I practice is I vibrate in the higher self, which is love, peace, joy, forgiveness, and enlightenment, rather than stay in the anger. Like if I get angry or I get fearful, instead of staying in that state, I immediately go into my higher self and vibrate into love and peace and joy. And that works for me. I think that's what Jesus talked about. And it's, you know, to me, it's been misinterpreted.
And so do you ever get angry now that you are spiritual?
Of course, I'm a human being. We all get angry. But the trick is, do we stay in that anger? Do we still vibrate with that low frequency anger or low frequency fear or whatever it is? Or do we just push it aside? It's like, okay, what I do is I meditate, I just breathe, and I access my higher self. And the higher self is the one that connects to the divine intelligence or God, whatever you want to call.
But anyone that has anger has the nature of their father, the devil, because in anger there is no love. It's only hatred and judgment and judging thyself and others. And so if you get angry, you, according to the scripture, you're of your father, the devil, and you can't serve two gods. You either serve Satan or you serve the true God. Which one do you serve?
Well, obviously, if I go to my higher self and I connect with the divine intelligence, I serve the higher God. I think Satan and God are within us. You know, it's like our natures. That's what they refer to.
Okay.
I don't think there could be, you know, entities, and I've experienced that are evil or they're good. You know, that is besides the point. But I think that it's in our nature, and that's what the scriptures refer to.
And do you have perfect peace?
I actually do have peace.
How
very
about
much
perfect
so.
peace? Do you have perfect peace?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like nothing, you know, if something bothers me, like I said, I access that high frequency of love and peace and joy, and just stay there and not, you know, worry or be angry about things, because it's all if you're angry at somebody else, you're like staying in this level. You want to stay up, you know, you want to connect with that divine love, that divine creator, that will give you that peace and that joy and that love.
I was in preparing for the show, I saw a recent interview of you by a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. And in that interview, you said that you had a narcissistic mother. Can you explain what that is, and how do you know she was narcissistic? What does that mean?
Well, that's another story. You're asking very deep questions. And I like it. I like it. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of traits about narcissists. The first, they care about themselves only, obviously. They do not care about your feelings. They blame, my experience is like they blame their feelings, how they feel, on you. It's always your fault. And they manipulate you. They give you like a little roller coaster of emotions, and they manipulate you with that. You know, they reel you in, and you gain their trust. I mean, they gain your trust. And so then when you trust them and you're cool, that's when they punch you in the face. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And then again, they repeat the cycle. So it's kind of like they have you on your toes, and it's like your stomach is always like, oh, you know, what are they going to do today?
And when you would tell your father, my mother is crazy and I need you to help me deal with her, what did he help you deal with your mother?
Well, he was always working.
Oh, he stayed away from her.
I would have too. I mean, I love my mother, because I have compassion for her condition. And, you know, it was more a mental illness that was not treated that caused her to be that way. So I do have compassion for her and love. And I think that's the only way I could heal from all the damage all the trauma that was inflicted. And
so when you went as a child growing up, when you would tell your father, once he did get home from work or wherever he was, when you would say, hey, my mother's crazy, help me deal with her, what would he say?
No, I could never do that. He was kind of like a little bit of a coward.
Oh, he was a beta male?
Yeah. Yeah. So I knew he wouldn't. I just instinctively knew he was not going to help me. But I do remember, you know, he was a very funny guy, and he actually inspired me to be a comedian, and I wish I had more time with him. But, you know, my mom was he was always away, and my mom was the main caretaker.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I have just nothing but love and compassion for my mother.
And so when you say he was a coward, can you
Yeah.
explain that?
He was afraid of my mom.
And you could
That's
just
just
tell
what I
that
was.
in his action or what?
Well,
Or
she was.
inaction?
Well, what happens is she had borderline personality. That's why I've been talking to a lot of therapists about it, and
Right.
that's what we think she had. And of course, it was unmedicated. And so what happens is they switch on you like that. So they can be okay, and something triggers them. That's like, for you, it wouldn't trigger you. Like you leave a cup of coffee on the table and that triggers them, and you're like, what just happened?
Right.
And so they just like boom. And so I think he was scared of that. He didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with it, but I never knew what would trigger her,
Right. Were you an
It
only
was-
child?
No, I have a brother, but we don't have a good relationship because he's messed up too.
And
As you
so,
can imagine.
you know how when we are traumatized by our parents, especially the mother, and
Yeah.
you become angry, you become like what you hate. You take on the identity
Right.
of that you hate. Did you become narcissistic like your mother?
Well, of course, some learned behaviors, that when you deal with certain situations, you see your mother, she's your role model, especially as a female. So you kind of like, oh, this is the way you deal with it. And then you realize, no, that's not the way you deal with it. So thank God I have a lot of critical thinking, and I have a lot of logical skills. So I became aware, like, oh, this is not good. This is not the way to deal with it. So I realized that it was a learned behavior. And yes, usually the child of a narcissistic parents can adopt the traits of a narcissist. Absolutely.
And so you became like what you hate.
Not 100%, I would
Right.
say, but in certain situations, and I didn't like it at all. Of course, it's like, this is not the way I should deal with this.
Yeah.
So, but it takes a lot of mental clarity to be able to acknowledge, that you can take on the traits of a narcissist.
Are you over that now?
I am so over it.
Oh,
I
okay.
told you, I just go love, peace.
Right.
I don't want to mess with that. I had too much of that, too much trauma, PTSD. I don't want to deal with it.
And so did you go to your mother and forgive her for resenting her for being so crazy?
Oh my God, yes, of course.
You told her that?
Yes, and we actually did talk about it, but the problem is that she didn't see it. She saw it, but she didn't see it at the same time.
Right.
And when you have a condition like borderline personality, you can't control your emotions at times. And so, I would tell her something and she would get angry. But I did stop her when, like a couple of years before she passed away. She was like yelling at me for whatever stupid reason. And I completely just stopped her with a lot of authority and strength. And she was like, wow, that's exactly what I need. And that's when I knew she's messed up. Like she needed her daughter to stop her from blowing up.
And your father, did you go and forgive him for not protecting you from her?
Of course. Yeah.
You
But-
told him
yeah.
that?
I never got to tell him because he passed away when I was much younger.
Oh,
and
okay.
so, yeah, so I wasn't still in touch with all this mess, all this inheritance.
Yeah. And so you said that your brother's messed up too. Have you suggested to him that he need to forgive his mother for being crazy and forgive his father for not protecting him?
It's hard for me to talk to him.
Oh, it is?
It's very hard for me to talk to him. Yeah, it's very hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But, if he's listening, yes, definitely I would suggest that because that's the past and that's stopping, you from being all you can be.
When you went to get help with counselors and therapists and all that stuff during the time you were gone, were they able to help you?
Who was able to help
Were
me?
you seeing therapists and counselors?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm a very thinking person. Like I think a lot,
Yeah.
a lot, and I do a lot of research. So I would go prepared. It's almost like, okay, this is what's going on. This is my analysis. And then there would be like, yeah, well, she had borderline personality, this and that. And to be honest, I don't need somebody to tell me how to heal.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I access the kingdom of God or my higher self, whatever you want to call it, I'm able to do that now. And that is what heals me and what keeps me sane and in peace and in joy and
Okay.
yeah, an understanding of what this life is about. It's just a temporary journey. We're in these bodies. We're way bigger than these bodies. And we're here to raise the vibration of the earth. If you act in love and peace and joy and forgiveness, you raise the vibration of other people because you don't tap into that, anger and fear and like all the ugly stuff that just doesn't lead anywhere but destruction.
Is there such a thing as a true thought, of lies or truth?
A true thought. Interesting. Well, I don't think I am my thoughts. I do kind of like look at, okay, I'm thinking this, that doesn't sound right or doesn't ring true. So I do kind of like filter the thoughts. And I don't know where they come from. It could be an external thing. It could be somebody connects with you. I do believe like we can connect telepathically with people, and I do that a lot. Like it's kind of crazy. Like I think of somebody or think about somebody doing something, and that's exactly what happens like 5 minutes later. Like it's insane.
So you realize that you're not the creator of your thoughts.
That's right. Yeah.
And so is there such a thing as a good or a bad thought?
I don't think there's a good or bad thought. I think that it's what you do with the thought that's good or bad.
It's what you do with them?
Yeah.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, if my thought says I want to punch this person in the face, which it comes to me at times, I will be like, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Or if a thought comes to me and it's like, you need to help this person or you need to, give them compassion. That's a good thought in the sense that I will take action. I will do it. I will honor that thought.
Yeah.
Where they come from, I have no idea. They come from my consciousness, from an outside source. No clue.
I have noticed that all thoughts are all lies all the time. There's no such thing as a true thought. They build you up to make you feel good, and then they let you down to make you feel bad. They build you up, and after a while, you just want to jump off a bridge.
Well, that's why you have to kind of analyze your thoughts. I'm misanalyze. You just analyze the thought. Is this something that I want to do? Is this who I really am? Punching somebody in the face. Yeah, it would be fun to do it because I'm mad at them.
Yeah.
But is that who I really want to be? Is that who I really am? And the answer is no.
Do you have an ego?
Of course, we all have egos.
How about
you? Oh, we all do. Now,
how about you?
Of course, yeah.
And
I do
what
have
is the ego? What is that?
Well, there's two types of ego, I think. The ego where you know your value, and I think that's the healthy thing, and the ego where you're impressed with yourself. I am not impressed with myself. I was inducted in the National Comedy Hall of Fame, and people keep reminding me because I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, I'm not impressed. It's like, so what? It doesn't mean anything to me in the sense that, I'm honored, but I'm not impressed. It's like, okay, what else?
Nice. And so you became a relationship coach. You started doing relationship and relationship coaching, right?
Yes, I'm certified.
And how did that happen? You like walking down the road one day and you say, you know what? I'm going to be a relationship coach. What the?
Yeah, pretty much. As a comedian, I talk a lot about love and relationships and dating and all that. And so sometimes people, believe it or not, they come for advice to me and I give like the weirdest advice, but it works. So I was like, this would be a fun thing to do. And I actually wrote this book, Love at First X, right here.
Okay.
After I had 2 breakups in 10 months. That's another story for another show. And so I wanted to heal myself and help others. And it's kind of like a funny guide to coping with breakups and making the most out of your relationship with your ex-lover. So so it just kind of came about because I broke up a lot. Yes.
And did you break up because the men didn't know how to handle you? They couldn't deal with you?
No, well, the first one, in that one, when I wrote that book, he was a narc. And then the second guy, a narcissist,
Oh, okay.
a malignant narcissist, and he had me like up and down, crazy. And so I escaped that. And then my rebound guy was like a really chill guy. We're still friends. He was like the opposite, like very, very cool. So, so I'm an expert in breakups.
And so are you married now?
No, I don't think I'm gonna get married again.
Oh, really? Oh, you've been married. Oh, you were married to those 2 guys.
No. I was married twice when I was really young. We're still friends with that first one. The second one, we were friends for a long time. And then his current girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure what's going on, did not want him. He wanted him to cut ties with me, and they demonized me. It was really weird.
Yeah.
So weird. Yeah.
Amazing.
Whatever. If that works for her, good for you. If she thinks, I'm a threat, that's makes her happy, go for it.
Yeah. Any
I don't
children?
care. I don't have kids.
And so when you were married, was your husband ahead of you? Did you follow him?
I'm an alpha female, so no.
You did not obey your husband?
No, I don't obey anybody.
Well, no wonder it didn't work.
Well, I don't believe in that. I think that was like written, like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like Paul said that, right?
Right.
Like that's been written like years and years ago. I don't believe in that.
But had you
That was
obeyed your husband, you would be married today.
I don't want to be married.
Oh, you don't?
No. Why would I want to be married?
Because don't you want children, like your own little family and all that? You don't want all that?
No, I'm happy the way I am.
So why did you get married then?
Well, because I was young and I thought that was what I needed to do to be happy and to fit in society. And now in my journey, I do whatever I feel is right for me. And marriage is not for everyone. Kids are not for everyone, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Paul said it's best not to be married. But if you're going to burn, then it's best to be married. But it's best not to. And we should commit ourselves to God. So so you wouldn't obey your husband? No wonder it didn't work.
No, he was a beta male too, so I kind of bossed him around.
Oh, well, no wonder. Wish you
bossed around.
So what?
He wanted to be bossed around, you know?
What a better.
I'm a leader. Listen, I'm a born leader. I know what's good, I know what's up, and I know what works, and I just do it.
And which do you prefer, alpha males or beta males?
I don't know at this point. I don't know. I really don't know what I prefer. And are they all alpha or beta? Is there like maybe a gray area right there?
No, they're either alpha or beta. You can't be no gray area.
Then I don't want either.
And so I can't get past you not obeying your husband. At the time,
oh my God, no,
At the time, did you know that he was a beta male, or that before you married him, did you know he was a beta and you were not going to obey him?
Yes, I never even thought about obeying a husband, ever. There's no way. You're not going to make me obey anyone.
And did he know that you were not going to obey him before he married you?
Yes, he didn't care. He loved that I was an alpha female because I kind of like solved all his problems and made decisions.
And so
he didn't have to do anything.
Did you love him because he was beta, and did you hate him because you beta?
Yeah, and he loved me because I was alpha. He hated me because I was alpha.
And you loved and hated him as well?
Yeah, we both did, I think. Well, not hate. Hate is a strong word, but I think like annoyed.
Yeah.
We were both annoyed with each other, but at the same time, we liked it, you know. So
are you surprised you end up with men that were just like your father? Men that were afraid of you?
Of course not. Yeah, because I'm looking for, that was my role model as a father.
You're looking for a father's love.
That's yes, of course. Yeah, beta male. But actually, like the last when I wrote this book,
Yeah.
the first narc, he was kind of like an alpha male. So we, we were like this.
What?
Yeah, it was interesting. But it was actually I like an alpha male. They're fun, but just don't tell me what to do. There's no way. You can't tell me what to do.
Amazing. Do you believe that men and women are equal?
Yes, of course they are.
In what way?
We're like human beings here on earth to do what we came here to do.
But how are you equal?
We're just the same. We're consciousness in bodies.
But how are you equal to a man?
I have the intelligence of a, we have both have intelligence. We both have bodies. They're different, but we both have bodies. We both have feelings, emotions. I mean, we're like the same, except there's different equipment.
And how are you equal to a man, though?
I am as smart as everything as a man.
What I've noticed is that men, real men, they have no anger. They are common sense. They're very logical. They are dispassionate and not emotional. And they know that of the order of God, God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and a woman over the children. And so they know that the man came from God, and the woman came from the man. And they know that it's their responsibility to bring the woman back to God by being that perfect example for her. Otherwise, she would be lost in her emotions, and all of her decisions would bring nothing but destruction.
That I disagree completely. Look
Why?
at me. I am like super logical. I'm not driven by my emotions at all. I know I've met men that have driven by emotions more than I am.
But that's because they have their mother's identity. They don't have the man's identity. They've been turned away from their fathers. And as I said, you become like what you hate. So those are beta males who has the woman's identity instead of the father. But men who have overcome mama, they become logical and they leave the woman. And the woman is subject to the man whether she want to be or not.
I don't believe in that. And actually, the creation of Adam and Eve is the splitting of the atoms into male and female. Everything is male and female. It's not about like he took a rib from Adam. That's not. If you study a little bit of physics, quantum physics, and science, you'll see that's not what it's referred to. It's
But you do
in the
agree,
Bible.
however it happened, which I don't believe that part, but let's say it's true. However it happened, you do know that the woman came from the man and the man came from God, right?
That's a story. Why should I believe a story? Who wrote that story? Is it really God, the word of God, or is it man that tampered with that so that man could be the bosses of the world? Oh, man, you have to obey the man.
It was written by men who were truly inspired by God.
How do you know?
Because I can see that it's the truth. They were witnesses to the truth.
What's the truth?
Is that there's only one God and we're not him.
How do you know there's only one God?
Well, there's another one. Satan is the God of the woman. Have you noticed that the God above is the God of the man because he came from that, and the God below is the God of the woman?
Again, it's men trying to make the woman the bad guy, and it's all just a made up story. It's all like legends. That story came from like way back. If you study ancient civilizations, it's all like a total like nighttime story, really.
So you don't believe anything that the Bible says, the scriptures have to say?
Like I said, I do follow the teachings of Jesus, but not
that's
the
his
one.
teaching. Those are his teaching. What the?
That's not. If you read, it's been tampered with. It's all been tampered with. Read the books that didn't make it to the Bible and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Have you ever noticed that every time a man listens to a woman, he suffers?
And if I listen to men, I suffer.
But have you noticed, though, that every time a man listens to a woman, he suffers?
That is such a generic statement. I don't know where you got that from, but okay. Your experience is different than mine, I guess.
You haven't noticed it? I've noticed that every time a man listens to a woman, he suffers. Just like
That
when
is
Adam
so not
listened.
true.
Just like when Adam listened to Eve, he suffered.
Yeah, blame it on the woman. That's hilarious, but that's okay.
Who
And that's
you
what
want me
you
to
believe.
blame it on, the rain or the woman?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So are you just joking with me, or you don't believe the
No,
order of God?
that's just, it's you believe what you believe. It's okay. I respect that. I believe what I believe.
Amazing. Is
Yeah.
it possible that what you are believing is wrong?
Is it possible that what you're believing is wrong?
Not at all. I have no doubt.
See, so we're even. How do we know? We're not going to know until after we die, maybe.
No, you can know before then by forgiving your mother for turning you away from your father, and forgive your
forgiven
father for
every.
not protecting you from her. And
It's
then
all
God
good.
would forgive you for playing God, and you shall know the truth. You draw you into the kingdom.
I'm all about forgiveness. I don't hold resentment with anyone.
Nice.
Yeah,
What
there's
is
no need.
love?
That only hurts me anyway. Why would I do that?
What is love?
Love,
Uh-huh.
love. Well, going to the Bible, it says God is love. Love is
But why
so.
you
Love
quote the
is love.
Bible? You don't believe in the Bible. What's up? Now you
Well,
quote the
just
Bible.
getting to what you believe. What
Why
is
you
love?
quote the Bible now, but you didn't like the Bible or anything else about the Bible?
I'm just
All of a
giving you
sudden-
like so you can relate. But what do I think is love?
Yeah, what is love
Um,
from you? What is love?
Love is the opposite of fear.
The opposite of fear.
hmm
And do you love the great white hope?
To create hope.
Do you love the great white hope?
What is that?
Oh, you don't know who that is?
No.
Oh, what the? Where you been? Do you see this guy?
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice.
I rest my case. Do you love Donald Trump? The
I
President
love
Donald Trump?
everyone. Do I like him? Not so much.
And do
But do I
you
love him? Of course.
You love him.
I love everyone because
How about
I'm
Donald
close to
Trump?
him. And like I said, I love everyone, and that includes him. I am not a fan at all, but that's just my personal taste.
When you counsel in your relationship job there, do you counsel just men and women, husband and wife, or do you counsel everybody else, the exes too?
More individuals.
Oh, okay.
Individually, yeah.
Amazing. And so we're starting to run out of time here. I want to know what made you decide. Oh, you said you got into comedy because you wanted to spread love. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or make people feel good?
Yeah.
Is it true that you have an OnlyFans page?
Yes, I do.
And why is that?
Well, OnlyFans is not just for adult entertainment. There's a lot of people like myself, comedians who are there. And I do have a page where I do comedy in lingerie, very classy lingerie.
Oh, okay.
And what it's about body positivity. I spread body positivity, love your body, love your curves, love yourself, love the way you are right now, and not like, oh, I'll be great in a month or in 2 months when I lose 20 pounds, No.
Yeah.
Just love yourself right now, because if you got to love yourself to be able to love others. So
And so when a fat woman come into your office and she's insecure because of her fatness, you tell her to love that fatness?
of course,
Oh,
that's who she is and what she's got. Unless she wants, she feels like she wants to lose weight for whatever reason, for health reasons
Right.
or whatever. But yeah, love yourself the way you are, of course.
do you believe that racism exists?
It does, absolutely.
And what's your proof of that?
I think this is my take. Remember, I was born in Argentina, and I
Don't
did not
cry
grow up-
for me, Argentina. I kept my promise. I did
So
my best.
racism is anything that you discriminate against people that don't look like you, that are not like your culture, that are in a way that people feel they're a threat to them in some kind of way, which is so weird because nobody is a threat. It's like we're all human
But that
beings.
sounds like a person's own insecurity.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So how is that racism if another person is just insecure anyway?
Well, if they're insecure and they're afraid or threatened by another culture, then, like as a Latina, it happens to me. Like because we're, curvy. I was always really curvy, and I felt like a lot of times, especially when I was married to a white guy, the second one, I felt like his parents or his mother felt threatened by my curves. I don't know if that makes any
Meaning
sense.
that you were fat at one time? What does curvy mean if it doesn't mean fat?
Well, curvy.
Well, why would his mother care about that?
Because it was, I think it was like a threat.
So you
I don't know,
felt
it was really
insecure.
weird.
You felt insecure around his mother about being curvy?
No, I don't care.
But how do you know she thought anything about it?
I know.
Did she tell you that?
In so many words.
She's like, "Oh, you too curvy, and I don't like it."
Kind of.
She said that?
In a way.
She did?
Mm-hmm.
What the?
Yep.
And so what did your husband say about it when you told him?
Nothing. He was a beta male, so it was like, hey, whatever.
And so where's you haven't given me any proof that racism exists. I don't see where racism exists. It's just a made up lie. And I grew up on a plantation in Alabama under the Jim Crow laws. And I never heard the word racism. I heard right and wrong, treat people the way you would like to be treated. There's good and bad in all races. And so why do you believe that racism exists with no proof?
Well, if we define racism as discriminating against people who are not your culture, then it does exist, I think, everywhere. Is it a political ploy to manipulate nations? Maybe. I don't know. If that's what you're referring to.
Do you ever discriminate?
No.
You have never discriminated?
No. I either like you or don't like you. It's very simple.
That's discrimination.
Well, I don't like somebody if they're mean or they're nasty to other people.
But
and
that's discrimination.
Who they are, I don't care.
I know, but that's discrimination, because if you were not discriminating, you would feel the same way about the mean person as you do the not mean, the person that's not mean. But you're discriminating, so you can consider being racist.
Well, no, because I don't want to be around somebody who's mean. Why would I be around somebody who's mean to me? I don't like that. I don't want that for me.
But why discriminate? Don't they have a right to be that way if they want to?
They have, but do I have a right to not be around them? Oh, yeah.
And so then it's not racism. It's a choice that you made. I don't want to be around this person. So it has nothing to do with racism then.
No, absolutely.
So racism does not exist.
I don't know. I mean, your question is very esoteric, and it's very, we can discuss for hours. I think it does, but
just because you think it doesn't mean that it's true, right?
Of course, it doesn't mean it's a thought. Again, it's a thought that pops in my head. And now what narrative is real nowadays? Well, you have algorithms where if you, let's say, Google Donald Trump, right? You're going to get all the algorithms of Donald Trump or anything that's related to that narrative.
Yeah.
If you Google Biden, you're going to have, like, on YouTube, you'll see all Biden. You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's like, what narrative is true? Are they all true, or are they none of them are true? So
what do you think about in America today and all the Western countries where white people founded America and created and built the greatest country on this side of heaven? And now the blacks hate the whites because they're jealous and envious of the whites. And rather than appreciating what the white people built, they want to destroy. What do you think about that? It's like inviting somebody into your home, your great home you built, and now they want to destroy it. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's an accurate description. To me, I don't see that.
But why do you think they keep begging and whining, the blacks? They keep begging and whining and blaming and burning and destroying and talk about reparation and affirmative action. They show no self-discipline. And they're blaming the whites. They call white people white superior, white supremacy, because they see white people superior to them. What do you think about all that?
I think that's the narrative I am not down with. I don't have, did not grow up in this country, so
Right.
I really can't. I haven't experienced a lot of the stuff that needs to be experienced for me to have an opinion. I don't see what you're saying. I understand it, but I don't see it.
You live in America now, though, right?
Yeah, but
And
I
so
think
do
it's
you
more
look at the black folks and go, what a mess?
I look at people. I don't look at black people, white people, Latin people. I mean, that is just division. It's just so weird to me.
Last question about that.
Yes.
How do you feel that the blacks in school and now the workplace and everywhere are teaching little white children that they are racist, that they are evil just because they are white, and they're telling the black children that you are better than the white children, and they are treating the white children like they're racist and they hate others, they hate the black. Is that evil for doing that to children?
Well, I think that
They call it critical race theory.
Well, to me, regardless of that particular topic, if you teach hatred to children, that's just not right.
Right, it's evil. What kind of heart can you have that you destroy the soul of children?
Because hatred divides and we want to unite, right? As a human race, we want to be united in love and peace and joy. And that's
not the way to do it. Are you for open borders?
For open borders?
Like all these illegal aliens coming into our country. Are you for that?
I don't have an opinion about that, to be honest.
Oh, so you just kind of look at that. You see all the thousands of people coming in and you're like, I don't care about that.
It's more complicated than that. It's not as simple as that.
Oh, I got to put you on the hot seat. I need to heat this up, folks, and put my guest on the hot seat.
Uh-oh, more? I'm burning already. It's getting hot up in here.
So I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible, all right?
Oh, my God. Okay.
The hot seat.
Do you have anger?
Yes.
Is climate change real?
Maybe.
In one word, describe Joe Biden.
Old. I'm sorry.
Was it a mistake to educate women?
No.
Should a man, because educated women would never make for a good wife and a good mother, should a man ever marry an educated woman?
Of course.
True or false? Jesus is black.
I believe he's definitely not white.
Is sex love?
Sex? If sex, love?
Is sex love?
No, not necessarily.
Are you a feminist?
Yes, I am.
Should transgenders be allowed to play in women's sport?
I think so, but I'm kind of torn a little bit, but I think so.
You think so, but you're kind of torn?
I'm kind of torn because I know as an athlete that if you're born male, you are stronger physically than a woman with the same training.
Yeah.
So I kind as an athlete, I'm like, I don't know how I feel. But they do have the right to be in a women's team. They do have that right.
So when you say you're kind of torn between that, that's the same as being torn between two lovers? Feeling like a fool?
A little bit.
Capitalism or socialism?
Whew, somewhere in between.
Would you vote for Alexander Cortez, AOC? Would you vote for her?
I don't know who the heck that is.
You don't know who it is?
No,
You're
I
blessed.
don't follow politics.
Did you have fun?
Yes, I did. This was fun. You challenged me, and I like that.
Thank you. And thanks for taking on the hot seat there. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And tell the folks how to get your books, how to watch your comedy, and whatever you're doing.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. You can get my book, Love at First X, on my website, gracecomedian.com. And then you can follow me on Insta. It's Grace Fraga Comedy. And on Twitter, it's Grace Fraga. And I'm on Facebook. I have a page, Grace Fraga.
Right on. Grace, I truly enjoyed this. Merry
Me
Christmas
too.
to you, and I hope you have an amazing New Year 2022. And thank you so much for coming on. It was fun. You have a good attitude about it. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. This was fun. It was not what I expected. But I'm always down for like a challenge. This is
That's
fun.
right. I like that.
Yeah, why not?
That's right. Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was fun. All right,
Yeah.
folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our merch. And The Fallen State is now on Patreon, so click the Patreon link in the description to follow our work. And let me hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. I absolutely appreciate it. Thanks for watching The Fallen State. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Support my nonprofit at rebuildingtheman.com and tell everybody and their mama about the show.